bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth.
All right, that was exciting.
Yes,
and welcome to the Aggregate rebranded show from Game of Zones. You 12 followers that were on Game of Zones will now be switched over to the Aggregate. We're going to tackle a few different types of topics, a little less sports, a little more life. I am Coach Mac. You guys know me. I'm the host with the most there, master of my domain. And with me is my brother, Big Mix. How we doing, Big Mix?
We're doing real well this morning, Coach.
Good. So, want to jump right in and talk about something in the realm of sports here. Our boy LeBron James got his son Bronny drafted in the second round this year. Bronny coming out of USC, didn't play many games, had a heart issue and had to have surgery, and got drafted because the Lakers thought it would be a good story, and pretty much LeBron told him to, right? So he gets drafted and plays a few preseason games, plays a few regular season games, isn't cutting it, gets sent to the G League, and now is talking about, well, I only want to play home games in the G League, and I don't want to travel and this and this and that. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on all this?
Well, that was the nepotism thing has been talked to death, and there's no stopping it, right? Because LeBron can do whatever he wants. There's no laws against it. But when he got bumped to the G League, I thought that was a good move because he's not a good basketball player at this point. But I was thinking about the other guys on the G League team and how it looks to just go, I'm just playing home games, or being told that Bronny's only playing home games. He's not traveling with the team. Who knows how much he's practicing with the team? Just think it'd be it's an isolating move for him.
Well, yeah, I thought about that too. Like there's something to be said for chemistry, but what about for Bronny? What about for his development of his game? And I thought, what about just him as growing up as an adult, like having to travel commercial and having to check into hotels and having to beat off the skanks and like, he's going to have to learn how to deal with that stuff if he's going to be an NBA player, even a low level one. And yeah, it does feel a little insulting to his teammates, but it also feels like a little inhibiting to him.
Yeah, he's not going to win anything out of this. He's not going to learn how to play basketball. He's not going to, like you said, not going to learn how to live life. And I think that people are just going to resent him for being in the position he's in when he seemingly doesn't deserve it. I mean, you got Dalton Connect scoring 30 a night.
Yeah, so yeah, Connect was the first round pick. He was the second round pick, and Connect dropped 36 the other night and like 7 or 8 threes, something like that. Like, dude's badass. And yeah, I think Bronny is going to be hated on anyway because LeBron is so polarizing. And either you love LeBron or you hate LeBron. And most people are just like, oh, it's Bronny's little boy. So, yeah, it's going to be a long road for that kid. But I don't think that they're handling it the right way. And what does he do with the other half of his season if he's only playing half the games? Like, what does he do?
Home games with the Lakers? He's certainly not practicing his jump shot.
Yeah, he needs to be practicing that jump shot because he could be a low end 3-and-D guy. He could be a good, maybe top end like Avery Bradley or something like that. Like have that kind of career, which would be fine. But
journeyman.
Yeah, but I just don't think that he's in a place where he can pick and choose what he does. He needs to be happy he's there.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about this when we were talking about it too, and I go, who went to the minor leagues and rode the bus and didn't complain and batted .250 and was the greatest basketball player ever? Michael Jordan went down to the minor leagues and he did all the shit with all in the mud. And they loved him. They loved him because his work ethic, he showed up every day. He was horrible when he got there. he was still kind of bad when he left, but he was better because Jordan will just be better. Like if he had stayed down there a few years, he would have been all right.
He'd have been okay.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, he showed up. He stayed in the skanky motels. He bought them food and stuff, and he got the team like the nice bus and stuff. So they really loved him. I'm like, so if Jordan can do it, I think Bronny can do it.
Yeah, I think there's a difference though. Bronny got his job because his dad was a boss. Jordan,
you're right.
Jordan got on that team because it was that owner's business decision. Like, hey, I want to play minor league baseball. How about I be on your team?
Right.
You're not going to say no in the minors.
No, and one other thing I also thought of was there's no social media back then, so it was easier for Jordan to just kind of escape. And you only saw random little ESPN clips every now and then, but now everybody's going to be there. Oh, you have a co-host.
Yeah, I know.
Which one is that?
That's Dulcie.
Oh, all right. Getting in the mix. Yeah, I'm sure that'll happen from time to time with your stable of animals that you have around there. How many?
We'll get
how
a scorecard going later.
How many animals are you up to now?
We've only got 5 now.
Oh, only 5.
Only 5. We'll stay that way for now.
So, thinking about this too, and we'll transition a little bit. So, under the topic of nepotism, which, by the way, if you ever want to know what nepotism, the funniest version of nepotism, watch The Office season 7, episode 1 of when Michael Scott hires his nephew to work there. That is a great episode. And it's titled nepotism. But I was thinking of nepotism in other aspects, and the one thought came to mind, and I'll let you go first because mine is just I could get off into a rabbit hole with mine. What do you think of when you think of nepotism in sports, music, art, whatever?
In sports, outside of this Bronny thing, you don't really see it. Like Jordan had 2 of his boys play ball. One went to a D2, D3 school.
Yeah, they weren't great.
But they never got a leg up. Seems like there's pro football players that have kids in the league. They may or may not get a leg up, but you have to have a certain build, have a certain athleticism to be picked. I haven't seen that in the NFL as much. But even though these athletes' kids have an edge anyway, I think of movies, movies and politics. Anything where there's a lot of fame and money involved, nepotism abounds.
So if you think of movies, who's the first one that comes to mind? Like a kid that you're just like, they got a break because of their mommy or daddy.
Well, all those kids did. I'm drawing a blank, but.
Well, I thought of first one that came to mind was and I'll save you here, and you can think of one. The Kardashians. Robert Kardashian's the dad, right, from the OJ case, and then they're really, they're famous. Okay, they're kind of famous family, and then Kim Kardashian gets railed on tape by Ray J, and then all of a sudden they're like this popular family, and then Bruce Jenner comes in, and it's just a fucking circus on reality TV. And I think of does that family deserve anything, or are they just writing that one little that butterfly ripple effect has just gone on from Robert Kardashian being on that case?
Hey, if you any way you can beat money out of that thing,
yeah,
right, no one's gonna stop. But that's no. Kardashians is a good one. I guess I was thinking of more like the like Jamie Lee Curtis. Her dad's famous.
Yeah.
The Quaids, all those big family stars.
See, I didn't think of, if I thought of actors and actresses, I would think of, and most people don't know this, but isn't Angelina Jolie like John Voight's daughter, I think?
Yep.
So yeah, there's those kind of in there. I also thought a couple of them. I thought of one in sports. Rex Ryan, Coach Rex Ryan, got his coaching gig because of Buddy Ryan, his dad. 85 Bears, and Rex Ryan did okay, but I mean, he got a leg in because of his dad. And then the one I thought about was music too, and I was just, again, Miley Cyrus. Like,
oh yeah,
Billy Ray had his one hit with his mullet. And then Miley Cyrus comes in and does her thing. And, then she got in on the era of social media and, became famous and all that. So anyway, yeah, nepotism at its best, but I guess that's life. It's all about who you know. It's not about who you are.
No.
So let's transition a little bit, as we will do here on the Aggregate from time to time. Overrated family. Let's go to overrated food. So Thanksgiving is coming. It's like Ned Stark, like Thanksgiving is coming.
Here it comes.
So Thanksgiving's coming around the corner, and I was just thinking about that. Not in the necessarily nepotism, but when you think of overrated, what do you think of when you think of overrated? What's overrated Thanksgiving food to you that could just be thrown in the trash and never see the table?
Oh, there's two things. One of those things is the sweet potato casserole with the marshmallows on top. For some reason, that grosses me out. I don't mind like a sweet potato pie, but the other thing is that green bean casserole, the creamy type in particular. Just chuck it. We don't need that.
Yeah. What do you think about turkey? Turkey is very polarizing for people.
Yes, turkey is a polarizing poultry. I don't care for it because it tends to be dry.
See, and that's what I kind of like about it. Like, put a little salt on it, and then it's like good, or like, and make it even drier. I don't know. Maybe it's like jerky at that point. But
I mean, you can use gravy too, I guess. But
right, and then you can put gravy on it, or people put cranberry jelly on it, or whatever. Turkey, very, very polarizing. Creamed corn. Is creamed corn a Thanksgiving? Like, do people eat that at Thanksgiving?
Cream corn's an interesting thing because you don't often see that in the wild. I mean, it's a storied side dish that many people talk about, but rarely see.
Right? But then some people do that, or scallop potatoes. Like another polarizing. I think we're on a theme though of like kind of like snot texture foods. Like,
but you got your. I would throw the scallop potatoes in with like your stroganoffs, like I don't find too much wrong with cheese and potatoes.
I don't either. Maybe it's the way people make them, but again, I started thinking about them, and as a fat guy, there's really not much that I won't eat at Thanksgiving. It's pretty much like the perfect, I want my mashed potatoes and stuffing, and corn and all that good stuff. I also thought of bad mac and cheese. Like,
oh yeah,
I was discussing with Casey today about mac and cheese. When did mac and cheese become a Thanksgiving entree? Because you and I grew up in the 80s and, in the 70s and 80s, and there was no mac and cheese at the table on Thanksgiving.
No, I think it was just when those parents bent to their children's tastes and wanted to have a side that they would eat because they wouldn't eat like that. They'd see the celery and the stuffing and freak out.
Right.
So, and maybe it's just lazy because there's some really quick mac and cheese boxes out there.
Right. That you could do it with. And so we're going to do Casey's going to do some baked mac and cheese this year. And I feel kind of like mac and cheese should be like pizza. Like, you can't fuck it up too much. Like, it's pretty basic at its core. Like, you can't make it too bad, but I've had some bad mac and cheese and it turns me off. So anyway, that, and what else did I write down? Oh yeah, Brussels sprouts, or like if there's any cauliflower at the table. I despise cauliflower. It's
Yeah.
fucking gross.
Cauliflower seems like just an exercise in eating.
It's
It's
like packing styrofoam, and everybody's just like, "Oh, you got to have it with this or no." It's like kale. You can't save it, dude. Like it's too far gone.
Well, I have to push back a little bit on Brussels sprouts, though. You can do those well. But it
Well,
involves olive oil and bacon.
you're gonna have to. Okay, well, see, now you're winning me over with bacon, but yeah, you'll have to make them sometime for me because I've never had one that I liked.
Yeah, okay.
Of course, I didn't like asparagus when I was younger. I like that now. And then to kind of close off the Thanksgiving deal, like what kind of pie do you like? Are you a pie man?
You know, I like a pie.
Yeah.
I like a pumpkin or a sweet potato pie. Not too much into apple or berry pies this time of year.
Yeah.
Berry pie is more of a early fall thing when they're in season.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, pie's good.
Yeah. For me, they're an anytime thing. Like, oh, there's coworker again. Yeah, I got to go like Marionberry. It's just like the best. Although I think we're going to get a Costco pumpkin this year.
Oh, Jesus.
Because you can't go wrong with that. All right. Well, this was a good little exercise here on what we're going to be on the aggregate. This is just kind of a nice little intro to how we're going to do things from now on. And we'll have our normal guests on, and we'll bring back the guys that were on Game of Zones, and we'll talk sports, and we'll talk music, and we'll talk movies and TV, and we'll do different things. But this is kind of what our format's going to be from now on for our 12 viewers. And so they can enjoy. Yeah, we'll kind of bounce around a little bit. We'll touch on some subjects, and today was a nice little check-in. And with you and I being co-producers of this show, I just wanted everybody to kind of get a little bit of a feel of what we're going to be about. What do you think? You like the new format?
Yeah, I like it. It's concise. You know what we're doing. We'll just let it ride and see where it takes us.
Yeah. So one last little melancholy to the end of the show here. Our Uncle Dan passed recently, and rather quickly, and kind of went downhill very, very fast, and super sad. And we love him to death. He was the guy that always something like this he would always support. Like when I think of Dan, I always think of he always supported me in my coaching. Every time we'd win, he would, be on Facebook, like, great job, coach. And he'd like every picture that I posted, and he would always be involved in everything, support Long Live Dono Foundation. He was actually the winner of the LLD inaugural bracket challenge this year for our NCAA. We did that for the first time. And Dan was the winner of that. And of course was just like, I don't want any money from this, like, keep it. And turned all the money back, and was just a great guy, just a philanthropist as much as he could be, wanted to help people, made everybody feel great about themselves. We're going to miss him dearly. He made the world a better place. He really did. Did you have any sentiments or anything you wanted to say about Uncle Dan?
I think that wraps it up, but yeah, we'll miss him.
I did find, just because it was just kind of fun.
Oh, no.
I did have a few pictures of you and me and him.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Baby beard.
Yes. Yeah. That was when it was just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was at Terry's house at one of his parties. So there's a fun one. Back in mid 80s, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Dan with the beard, me with the nerd goggles, but the Knight Rider t-shirt. You look just like Wormser from Revenge of the Nerds on this. It was amazing.
Look, I've been having that coordinated pajama and robe.
Yeah, you had the pajama robe ensemble. That was on point. From my wedding, us all on the right there. I was surprised how many pictures of you and me and him in it that I just pulled up right away this morning.
Huh.
And so that was kind of cool. A little shout out to Grandpa Bob after he passed.
Yeah.
And Grandpa Bob loved giving the middle finger, but yeah, one of those where I mean, you could just see that everything he was in, man, it was just a fun time. And then this one, I believe this was Marcos's bachelor party. So
Marcos's?
was it Marcos or was it Lucas?
No, it was Lucas. It was Lucas. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and there's a Ken sighting. We don't see the Ken sighting very often. But anyway, that was just something I pulled up today. I thought that would be kind of fun to share of us and give an RIP to Uncle Dan since we love him. So, all right. Any departing words before we get out of here?
No, nothing. I'm glad to be here. Glad to have a part of the inaugural rebrand episode, and we'll see where it takes us from here.
Yeah, fantastic. All right. So for Big Mix, Coach Mac, I'm out. We'll see you next time.